So, Abraham, what would a fully flowering human being look like on our planet? Is this the Christ consciousness or the Buddha nature?
It is. And both Christ and Buddha would have been the first to tell you that it was always something that they aspired to and something that they often achieved, but not something that anyone ever holds steadily to all the time. It's an objective. It's a calling. It's not some standard that you should hold yourself to and then beat yourself over the head with a club when you are not there.
See, this is what the Eastern religions seem to instill, that we are all supposed to become this. And so when you say that this is a planet of joy and that it's an individual choice, I don't quite understand. I know you say there's really no purpose to be here except for joy, except there seems to be such a collective consensus in the teachings, Eastern and Western, that we are supposed to come to a certain height.
Well, at the heart of all of those religions, there is an understanding of alignment. In other words, when you discuss any of them, if you can get back to the precepts on which they were originally based, you discover that there was an understanding by those who were translating at the beginning of coming into alignment. It's an individual's self-alignment with who they have become. And that's the thing that all those religions were teaching, but as man gets hold of it, whether they are the leaders of a church or of a nation or of a peer group in a high school, most leaders really believe that leadership is about looking amongst the masses, coming to a conclusion of right action, and then somehow affecting conformity to that right action. And what is forgotten almost every time in almost every religion is the understanding that coming into enlightenment, that coming into vibrational harmony, that going home, that coming into the light, that upliftment, that seeking source, that finding God, no matter what words they are using, is all about an individual closing their gap between who they are and who they have become. And it's this determination that almost every religion or organized anything has to get you to conform to their standard that has the whole thing not working well. Don't you find it amazing that all of these supposedly enlightened people who are now trumpeting the leadership of all of these supposedly enlightened religions are using their disagreements with other religions as their basis for destruction of one another? Where do they find that in their scriptures or in the basis of that what they teach? There is a huge misunderstanding, and it goes like this. It says, I want to be good. Everyone has that at the heart of their request. I want to be good. Therefore, I must find the standard that is good, and then I will do my best to conform to that. And that's where they all go wrong, because they are saying there is a standard, instead of understanding that if there are billions of people on the planet, that there are billions of standards, because there were billions of intentions as you came forth, and there are billions of exposure to contrast as you've given birth, and there are billions of vibrational escrows that you're reaching for, and there are billions of individual emotional scales that you are turning in the direction of, and there are billions of gaps that are being closed. In other words, you are individually coming into alignment with your source. It's not a source that someone outside of you has assigned to you. When somebody says, for you to be good, you need to meet these requirements that I have established here, we say there is something screwy in their understanding, because right away they are taking your guidance outside of you and they are trying to control your guidance. They're saying, I hold the keys to your enlightenment, to your upliftment, to your well-being, to your connection with God. You need me. Every religion, without exception, has lost their way on that, because they have stepped outside of their individual understanding of who they are. It is our promise to you that you did not come forth into this leading edge time-space reality with the attitude that said, I'll go forth and I will find the right way, and I will lead others to the right way. Instead, you said, I'll go forth and I will conclude what is best for me, and the source within me will become it and call me toward it. And when I go, I'll feel really good. That is enlightenment.
That is so liberating.
And when I go, and when I feel good, now I am an example of someone tuned in, tapped in, turned on. I am an example of someone offering a singular, non-resisted signal. So my power of influence is huge. But what I am influencing toward is not doing as I do and thinking as I think. What my example of enlightenment is about is my example of alignment. You did not come forth as teachers to tell others what they should create. You came forth to demonstrate through the power of your example how to create. They are the creator of their own experience, and they get to choose. And when you look into any environment that has any form of disruption, whether it is a rebellious 5-year-old, whether it is a rebellious teenager, whether it is a spouse rebelling in marriage, whether it is an employee rebelling under the discomfort of an employer, whether it is a nation unhappy with irrational leadership, whether it is world disruption based upon things going wrong, in every single case, what is at the heart of the rebellion is a natural, personal awareness that you're not the boss of me. A natural, personal awareness that there's a vibrational escrow that's calling me, and when I listen to your call, I'm always off my path. Do you know how rare it is to meet someone who has the ability to know who you were before you were born, and know everything that you've lived, and know everything that you've thrown into your vibrational escrow? Do you know how rare it is? It's not just rare, it never ever happens to find another human standing over there in your vibrational escrow calling you accurately to your path. Every time somebody tries to tell you what you should do, what you should think, why you're here, they are leading you off your path. And that's why you go crazy. You can feel yourself not going with the flow. There are so many well-meaning people, but if they would speak more accurately, what they would say to you in their attempt to guide you is, I have not yet discovered my own alignment with my own source, and I'm feeling rather frustrated in my illogical effort to control others so that I can feel better. And I am using you, they would say to you, as a guinea pig to see how compliant you would be and how many of my hoops you are willing to jump through. And I have this illogical misunderstanding that if I can get you to jump through some of my hoops, that I will feel better. But it's going to take your undivided attention. You're going to have to really trust me, which means you're going to have to set aside all of your natural instincts. So you're going to have to, from this moment forward, forget that if it feels good, it is. And you have to start believing that if it feels good, you're being led down the wrong path, and that if it feels bad, you're on the right path. You have that one?
If it's hard.
And then you have to understand that nothing that is worthwhile is easy. There is no stream of well-being. There is no source. You are not worthy. You are here as unworthy beings. And so any of your natural instincts are wrong. Set them all aside. So if you feel like laughing, stifle it, because that would be inappropriate. And if you feel like doing something, don't, because that's just selfish. And if you instead listen to me, now it's going to be hard, so it's going to take a lot of trust and a lot of faith and a lot of willpower. You're really going to need a lot of willpower, because every inclination that you have is going to want to lead you toward joy. So it's going to be a lot of trouble for you. And because I know how much trouble it is, I'm going to start with you when you're really, really little. And I will call those the formative years. Those are the years when you defy your natural instinct for joy, and instead you do everything that's illogical. And just to mix it up, to really train you really well, I'm going to, this is this collective voice of control, I'm going to smile when I don't mean it. I'm going to pretend that I feel good when I don't. so that you learn to mimic my actions with no guidance whatsoever coming forth from within. And if I can train you appropriately, then we'll have world peace. We will have defied all of your natural instincts. We will have defied your reason for being. We will be defying everything that you are, but let's go for it. And if it doesn't work out, and so far it hasn't, they will tell you, we'll get better at it. We'll train you stronger and faster, and we'll ask for your compliance. And then if we don't get it, then we'll just make the stakes higher. And if you don't listen to us, then we'll condemn you to hell. We will. We will. And somewhere along that training, and didn't all of you get some of that somewhere? Somewhere along that training, you start to think there's something screwy in this. And so then when you listen to us ramble about who you are and what your true intent was and why you are here and how it is that you've come forth, and that you are the leading edge creators on the leading edge of all that is, and you say, why does this resonate with me? And we say, because you remember that's who you are, you see.